Hi, good day all of you. Welcome to our session. Welcome to our channel Intelligible Tutorials. In this today's session of software testing methodologies, we are going to describe about predicates, path predicates and achievable paths. So what is the meaning of the predicate actually? The predicate is nothing but one of the function that gives the output as the logical value. Hence it is called as the logical function which is evaluated the decision at the output time, that is called as the predicate. Okay, so what is the meaning of the predicate actually? So the predicate is a function which is going to give the output as the logical value, so it's a logical function, so that's why it is called as a predicate. Okay, so it gives the output as the logical function, hence it is called as the predicate. Okay, so the decision depends upon the value of the variables. For example, see here in this example, a greater than 0. If a is the greater than 0, that means 1 or 2 or 3, then the logical validity value of this expression is true. In the same manner, x plus y greater than or equal to 90. So the value greater than or equal to 90, then it is true. Okay, so else it becomes false. So like that, the predicate is a function which gives the logical values as the output. Hence it is called as a logical function, and it evaluates its decision either true or false at the output time. Okay, now we know another term that is called as the path predicate. What is a path predicate actually? The predicate which is associated with the path, so the number of the nodes on which we are passing through from starting node to end node, that is called the entire path. So the predicate is, if at all it is associated there, then that is called as the path predicate. Okay, so that predicate is called as the path predicate. Next, what are the multi-way branches actually? The path taken through a multi-way branch. See, whatever path is there we have taken, which can have the multiple number of the branches. These multiple number of the branches are possible with the help of the go-to statements and case statements and jump tables. And cannot be directly expressed as true or false terms because multi-way branches are there. So if this one is another branch, this is for example we see the example of the multi-way branch. This is the node, and this is another, it is coming from this, and this is another node. This node is having the path from this, and this node is giving path from this, and this is also having path from this. So here how many number of the branches are there? Totally 1 2 3 number of the branches are there. Okay, so this is the node 1 and this is the node 2. Okay, so in such situations we can't say here the value is true, we can't say here the value is false, like that. So this is the multi-way branch example. Three branches are there totally. Okay, for example, see, if case 1 is equal to do a1, this is the case 1, this is the a1. If case 2, this is the case 2, so second case, this is the a2. If case 3, then this is nothing but A3 directly we are showing. Okay, so like that, three number of the cases are possible here, all are leading to different number of the branches. So this is one example of the multi-way branching. Okay, so where more than two branches are available, that is multi-way branching. So whenever it is two-way, you can say either this is true or this is false, but we cannot express this true or false values in the case of multi-way branches. So this is one example of the multi-way branch. Okay. Now what are the various kinds of the inputs that we will use here? Okay. In testing, normally the input is given as the not only the direct input, the input that is the set of all the inputs which can cover all the data objects and their values. Okay, those are called as the inputs. So what are the various kinds of the inputs, for example we are having here? Okay, so for the first one here we are discussing is inputs in a calling sequence. Objects in the data structure is also take some kind of the inputs. Values left in registers also treated as the inputs, or any combination of object types are also treated as the inputs. So all these are various kinds of the inputs. Okay, so whenever we are performing any test, the input for the particular test is mapped in as a single dimension vector like this. Okay, so say suppose this is one kind of the vector, This is the single dimension vector. So it is single directional, so it can have various kinds of the input values. So this array is called as the single dimensional input vector. So we can represent whenever a particular test having multiple number of the input values, we can represent them in the form of the array, and this array is called as the input vector. So what are the various kinds of the inputs? Inputs in a calling sequence, and as well as objects in the data structure, and as well as values left in the registers, and any combination of the object types. All these things collectively called as the inputs. Next, we talk about the predicate interpretation. What is the meaning of predicate interpretation? How a predicate can be interpreted? Okay, normally the simple predicate that depends only on the input variables. So the predicate that depends its output value can be predicted with the help of the input variables. For example, we have two input values x1 and x2, and the required predicate is this one. For example, x1 plus x2 greater than or equal to 7, and the based on the input values it may give the output value as true or false. If at all x1 is 3 and x2 is also 3, which is less than 7 6, which is the 6 and which is less than or equal to 7, so less than 7, so that's why it is gives the false value. Whenever it is 4 and 4, that is output is 8, so obviously it gives the value as the true value. So the output or decision of the predicate always depends upon the values of the x1 and x2, or the values of the inputs. Okay, so this is the thing you have to remember here. Okay, another example, x1 plus y greater than or equal to 0, and we have one more thing. See here, can have see here, x1 plus y greater than or equal to 0. In the same manner, the another one, y is equal to treated as x2 plus 7. We can substitute this value, y value, in this expression, that is x1 plus this expression, that is x1 plus y greater than or equal to 0. So after substitution, the expression will become as x1 plus x2 plus 7 greater than or equal to 0. Whereas in the case of y, you have implemented this in the case of y here, so that's why it can be represented as x1 plus x2 plus 7 greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so what is the meaning of the predicate interpretation? Actually, the act of symbolic substitution of the operations. Okay, so the collection of the operations in the path, so to make the predicate in terms of the input vector is called as the predicate interpretation. Okay, so this is called the predicate interpretation. Sometimes it may be depend upon the path, sometimes it may be depends upon the input values. Okay, so we are making the path predicate in form in the in terms of the input vector. Okay, so path predicate predicate interpretation example code is here, it is showing. So input on x go to ABC, z is given as some value, z is given as minus 7, z is 0, and hem is the label, do something, hen y plus z greater than or equal to 0, go to else go to emm. Here see, hen, hem, emm are the various kinds of the labels that we have proposed. Okay, so these are the various kinds of the labels. So now y plus 7 greater than or equal to 0, three things here we are going to see. Three cases, that is y plus 7 greater than or equal to 0, y minus 7 greater than or equal to 0, and y greater than or equal to 0. Why? Because the z value is given as 7 minus 7. Here z value is given as 7 and z value is given as minus 7 and 0. We are substituting this z value here in this expression y plus z greater than or equal to 0. That is y plus 7 greater than or equal to 0. Here is again y minus 7 greater than or equal to 0 and y greater than or equal to 0, like this. These are the path predicates actually. We can represent them in the form of the input vector like this. The path predicates are the specific form of the predicates of the decisions along the selected path after the interpretation. So we can interpret such kind of the predicates like this. Okay, with the help of some set of the input values. Next, Independence of variables and predicates. The path predicates take the values which are the truth values or false values, whatever it is, based upon the input variable values, which can be direct or indirect. If a variable's value does not change the result of the processing, okay, then it is called as the independent processing. If the variable's value is changing after the processing for the result of the processing, then the variable is process dependent. So the variable plays a vital role. So this variable plays two roles as dependent variables and independence variables in the predicates. So it is changing the result, it is a dependent. If it is changing the result, it is dependent, or it is not changing the result, we can say it as the independent. Okay, see here in this example, once again I am showing. See, the variable is independent when it is not changing the result of the processing, and whenever it can change the result, that is called as the process as the dependent process. Like that we can represent. Okay, so dependence and independence of the variables in the predicates we can express like this. Okay, one more thing that we are going to see, a predicate whose truth value can change is called as the process dependent, and a value whose does not change is called as the process independent. Process dependence of the predicate does not always follow from the dependence of the input values on which that predicate is based. Process dependence means where the value is not changing, where the value is does changing according to the truth value. Okay, so it is not always follow the dependence of the input variables. Okay, sometimes it may becomes the independent also. We cannot guarantee that it always follow the dependency of the input variables or dependent input variables. Sometimes it may be changed the value also. Okay, and what are the correlation of the variables and predicates, now we are going to see. Two variables are correlated if every combination of the variables cannot be independently specified. Okay, so whenever two variables are correlated, um, um, that means every combination of their values cannot be independently specified. Variables whose values can be specified independently without restriction are called as uncorrelated. Whenever there is the relation among the variables, those are correlated, or else simply those are not correlated. Okay, a pair of the predicates here we have whose outcomes depends upon one or more variables are said to be correlated predicates. What are the example of the correlated predicates? Now we are going to see here. See, the predicate x is equal to y followed by another predicate x plus y greater than is equal to 8. If we selected x and y values to satisfy the first predicate, we might have forced the second predicate's truth value also changing. Okay, so if we select x and y values to satisfy the first predicate, we might have forced the second predicate truth value also to be changed. Okay, so like that we have mm, correlated values. Okay, every path through a routine is achievable only if all the predicates are uncorrelated. Whenever all the predicates are uncorrelated, then that path is called as the